Good morning. Thank you for joining us today for our Mary Beth Maddox Award and Lectureship information session. My name is Stephanie Shaw, and I serve as the Program Officer of TAMEST, the Texas Academy of Medicine, Engineering, Science, and Technology. We appreciate the time and efforts spent preparing your nominations for the Mary Beth Maddox Award and Lectureship, and we hope that this session provides information to help you in creating a strong nomination. We're excited to share with you additional details about the process and timeline today and answer any of the questions that you may have. Today, I will start us off by sharing the purpose and objectives of the award and lectureship. We'll then hear from the chair of the Mary Beth Maddox Award and Lectureship Committee, Dr. Ralph DeBerardinis. Dr. DeBerardinis is the chief of the Division of Genetics and Metabolism in the Department of Pediatrics at UT Southwestern Medical Center. He's also a member of the National Academy of Medicine. Our TAMEST Executive Director, Terrence Henry, is also here with us to answer any questions. For those of you new to TAMEST, we're a statewide society with a mission to foster collaboration, nurture the next generation of scientists, and advance the research enterprise in Texas. We were founded in 2004 by our honorary chair, Senator Kay Bailey Hutchison, and Nobel laureates Michael Brown and Richard Smalley. TAMEST is composed of 340 Texas-based members of the three national academies: National Academy of Medicine, the National Academy of Engineering, and the National Academy of Sciences, and other honorary societies, as well as 8 Nobel laureates. The Mary Beth Maddox Award and Lectureship was established in honor of Mary Beth Maddox, the former executive director of TAMEST, who passed away in 2008 after a valiant battle with pancreatic cancer. TAMEST developed this award not just to recognize great women scientists, but also to keep the memory of Mary Beth alive. She was a champion of women in science and their advancement. We're proud to see Mary Beth's memory carried on through this award, recognizing women scientists in Texas, bringing new ideas and innovations to the fight against cancer. The recipient will be honored at the TAMEST 2024 Annual Conference, where they will present their research to attendees and also receive a $5,000 honorarium and award. The conference will be held February 5th through 7th, 2024 at the AT&T Hotel and Conference Center in Austin, Texas. Attendees include National Academy members, CEOs and business leaders, federal agency leaders, and the greater scientific research community in Texas. In addition to being honored at the TAMEST annual conference, the recipient will promote their work and discoveries across the state at established lecture and seminar series at TAMEST member institutions with NIH National Cancer Institute designated cancer centers. The lectures will be held at the Daniel Duncan Comprehensive Cancer Center at Baylor College of Medicine, the John H. Blaffer Lecture Series at MD Anderson Cancer Center, the Grand Rounds Lecture Series at UT Health San Antonio, and the Excellence in Immunology Seminar Series at UT Southwestern Medical Center in partnership with the Simmons Cancer Center. So as we look at our timeline for this year, nominations opened on August 1st, and they'll close at 11:59 p.m. Monday, September 25th, 2023. Complete eligible nominations will then go to the Mary Beth Maddox Award and Lectureship Committee members for individual ranking, and then they'll meet to discuss their top finalists and select a recipient. Final approval will come from the TAMEST Board of Directors, which is composed of 15 members of the national academies with equal representation across the 3 academies. The selected recipient will be notified in November 2023. The recipient must be able to attend the award ceremony on Tuesday, February 6th, 2024 at the TAMEST 2024 Annual Conference in Austin, Texas. If a nominee is not selected, they will be notified in early December. I'll now turn it over to Dr. DeBerardinis to tell you more about the Mary Beth Maddox Award and Lectureship Committee duties.
Thanks, Stephanie, and good morning, everybody. It's really an honor to serve as the chair of the Mary Beth Maddox Award and Lectureship Committee. There are pictures of the rest of the committee there. We have 4 TAMEST members, all members of the National Academy of Medicine. Dr. DePino, you can see the top right, is also a member of the National Academy of Sciences. And we're proud of the breadth of knowledge and institutional representation on the committee. And we really want to encourage nominations from as many institutions as possible, because the success of the program depends on having great nominees. We've had two great recipients of the award in the last 2 years, and hope to continue to have engagement from institutions around Texas for this award. Okay, Terrence, if you could advance to the next slide. So it's a little bit about the process of scoring and selection. The nominees should apply even if a member of their institution is on the prize committee. The committee all agrees to a conflict of interest policy, and that includes that committee members themselves may not nominate someone, and conflicts of interest are discussed among the committee members, and those either result in a simple disclosure or else recusal. And if there's any questions about that, we can talk a little bit more about what constitutes a COI that would result in recusal. The nominations are then ranked individually by all the committee members. So every committee member sees every application, and then discussed among the full committee in a single session where we use the rankings as a means to guide the discussion about the most competitive applicants. Okay, next slide, please. So the submissions are judged on the criteria that you see there. How well does the nominee's work address the importance and impact as it relates to cancer? And we ask if the work holds promise for continued contribution in our fight against cancer, and that should be supported by relevant metrics. The nomination letter is very important. Letters should detail how the nominee has demonstrated a commitment to service within the community, and if that's relevant, and if that information is in the letter, we try to give those nominees special consideration. And we're really looking for the possibility of future impact in addition to what the nominee has accomplished so far. So it says possibility of National Academy election there in the future, basically asking, is the candidate on a trajectory that predicts future impact of the work? Okay, next slide, please. So in terms of eligibility, you see a nice photo there of Yun Nancy Huang from Texas A&M Health, who won in 2022 for her work on epigenetics and cancer. Who's eligible? The award is open to all innovative female scientists residing and working in Texas. The nominees must have spent at a minimum the past 2 years at the time of the nomination performing research in Texas at an institution that resides within the state. The nominee's current work has to be anchored in cancer research, and the nominee must be within 10 years of their first faculty appointment or 15 years from the first full-time industry-affiliated position at the end of the year in which the nomination is made. And then finally, the award and lectureship can only be awarded to an individual. We don't consider team nominations for this award. Thanks, Terrence. So just a word about renominations. As we also do for some of the other TAMEST awards, the nominees are automatically renominated for the next 2 years after the initial nomination, as long as they still meet the eligibility criteria. And we will notify the nominators and encourage them to renominate and update the nomination letter and any other components of the packet at the time of renomination. So I want to just stress that, because for the O'Donnell Awards, we've seen a high number of renominations eventually go on to become the recipient. So updating the packet with any relevant information is crucial. And I think we noticed last year that most of the renominations didn't have updates, and I think that was a disadvantage to those nominees. So please, if you nominate someone, just go back in the following year if they don't win, and provide some updates to the letter and the CV. All right, I'll now pass it back over to Stephanie to review the required nomination materials.
Thank you. So all required materials are posted on the TAMEST website and included in the nomination guide. Materials include what you see on the screen, which is the online nomination form, a letter from the nominator, a brief 50-word statement about the nominee's research and discovery, a biographical sketch, and a list of the 5 most important publications. Next slide. The online nomination form is a form that should include the nominee's name, the nominator's name, year of first faculty or industry affiliated appointment, the nominee's title and organization, and contact information. And this will all be asked for in the form. The letter from the nominator should be a 2-page maximum letter that describes the candidate's outstanding accomplishments associated with cancer research and discovery. Letters detailing how the nominee has demonstrated a commitment to service within their community is encouraged, as Ralph said earlier. Next is a brief 50-word maximum nomination summary indicating how the nominee's work advances the understanding, prevention, diagnosis, and treatment of cancer. The subcommittees use this as a glance back when they are reviewing the nominations. So it's encouraged to make sure that those summaries are very strong. Next is the bio sketch. So we ask for an abbreviated biographical sketch that includes personal statement, summary of education, employment, honors, recognitions and awards, research interests and activities, and research contributions. And these may be NIH bio sketches. And finally, we ask for 5 of the most important research publications that directly support the candidate's research accomplishments in PDF form. Now, all these materials, the nomination form and the guide are accessible on the TAMEST website at tamest.org/Mary-Beth-Maddox-award. Next slide. That brings us to our Q&A. So if you've had any questions that have come up during this session, please use the Zoom Q&A box to submit your written questions. And there's also an upvote feature. If you have, if somebody else answers a question that you're interested in, you can upvote those. And we'll wait a few minutes to see if any questions come in before we move on. And we have a question that came in. What do you think the most important thing to keep in mind is when nominating a candidate? Well, if I can pass that one to you, if you'd like to answer from the committee's perspective.
Yeah, I think I've been on the committee for the last 2 years, and I think ultimately what carries the day seems to be the strength of the publication record and how well the impact of the findings are articulated in that 50-word statement and in the nominating letter. And so I would really keep those things in mind. You know, being anchored in cancer research is also critical, but of course, cancer research is quite broad, and that could include anything from, you know, clinical research and prevention, clinical interventional studies, to basic science that involves things as disparate as the microbiome, which would include our winner last year to epigenetics, to oncogenic function, et cetera. And so it just, I think, a crisp description of the impact and then the record of publication are probably the 2 most important things.
Thank you. We have another question. Can you please talk more about the networking and lectureship component of this award? I can start that one off. So the recipient of the award starts off by giving a presentation at the annual conference, the TAMEST annual conference, and then they are sent to provide lectures. So we have 2 per year, 2 in the fall and 2 in the spring. And this is a way to give the recipient some time to meet with other like-minded individuals and others that are in the research community, share their work, and hopefully build some connections outside of their city and outside of their cancer institution. Ralph, do you have anything else you'd like to add on that?
Well, maybe just that, the TAMEST meeting itself is a great opportunity for networking. I mean, I think most of the attendees tend to be, established people who are TAMEST members, but, there's a mentoring or a mentee program as well to get some of the younger investigators around the state to attend. And I think just by virtue of the fact that the Mary Beth Maddox Award winner attends the TAMEST meeting is one excellent opportunity for networking for people kind of all across the spectrum of science and technology in the state. And then I can just speak a little bit about what the experiences were at UT Southwestern when we've hosted particularly the 2022 winner. And the Cancer Center threw a reception. And so, investigators throughout the Cancer Center, clinical and basic, were there. Everybody met with the winner. And I think she established a number of contacts with our institution that weren't there before.
We also work with the cancer centers to set up a tour for the recipient. So after their lecture, they're able to take a tour and meet with some important folks that are at each cancer center. And this is sponsored by TAMEST. So the travel and costs associated with that are sponsored by TAMEST. Okay, that seems to be all the questions. So we can move on. Thank you so much to all of you for attending today and for Dr. DeBerardinis for leading this session. We hope you found this information helpful. The videos and slides of today's session will be posted on the TAMEST website and included in a follow-up email. Nomination guides, eligibility requirements, and nomination forms are accessible on the TAMEST website at tamest.org. There will be a survey at the end of the session for attendees to submit feedback. We'd also like to invite all of you to join us in February for our 2024 TAMEST annual conference. The theme of the conference is artificial intelligence and machine learning. As I've said, it takes place February 5th through 7th, 2024 at the AT&T Hotel and Conference Center in Austin, Texas. And it will explore the current practical and clinical use of AI and machine learning, examine its limitations, and investigate its true potential for significant advancements in science and society. The speakers will address challenges and opportunities of AI and machine learning in high-performance computing, defense, self-driving technology, precision medicine, and healthcare delivery. It'll also be a special occasion as we celebrate 20 years of TAMEST. And the 2024 Mary Beth Maddox Award and Lectureship recipient will be recognized at the award ceremony and presentation on Tuesday, February 6th. We hope you can join us. The event is open to all in the research community, and you can learn more about that on our website. So as a reminder, the deadline to submit nominations is Monday, September 25th. If you have any questions or need further information, please contact TAMEST by email or by phone. This concludes today's session. Thank you so much for joining us.